Tom, thank you. Welcome to WHIR TV.
Thank you.
Good. I want to start off just by getting to know your company and your brand. Why don't you tell me just a little bit about what Implement.com does?
Okay, well, we're a systems integration company, and so that generally means consulting, technical consulting. We also do content services, documentation, training, online training, and we basically focus on hosted unified communications and hosted collaboration, so things like calendaring and SharePoint or document sharing, and then hosted business applications like CRM, Dynamic CRM, and then also software as a service integration. And so we specialize on integrating hosted platforms between hosting companies or other partners that have complementary services. And then we also have a hosting subsidiary called Chinook Hosting that actually delivers these same services in a private label hosting business model. So we basically focus on the same technologies, have the same expertise. We have two delivery models, one where we can do consulting on-premise for telecommunications and service provider companies, and the other where we can actually host it for them, and they can acquire it through our private label program. And the thing that's different about us is that because we're also a systems integration company, if they're successful with our white label service and it grows, they can also then decide to do an on-premise deployment, and through our consulting arm we can do the on-premise deployment and migrate them onto their platform and keep that as a seamless experience as possible.
So you're kind of like a one-stop shop for your
end
users.
Yeah, and in fact the other big part of going to market with these services is really the sales and marketing side, the go-to-market strategy. And we've just announced a partnership here at the conference with Mural Consulting, who does all the sales and marketing, sort of digital agency advertising. So now our mutual clients can come to the two companies for a full end-to-end life cycle of services across sales, marketing, technical deployment, content, training, hosting, and then on-premise transfer as the business warrants it.
That's a really big partnership. What made you decide to go in that direction?
Well, we've known the company for a long time and have a lot of mutual respect, and I know a lot of people that we work with already there, and we just kind of came to the realization that we have a lot of mutual customers, and it just made sense to formalize it in a more substantive way than we had in the past, sort of informally. But so that's the announcement.
That's a huge announcement. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
That's a big deal for your company, and I'm sure for your staff as well.
Yep.
And we were talking earlier about the future of your company and of the industry, and we've got some exciting things going on, like what you just mentioned. And what do you see happening with, the partnership that you've developed, and just you guys moving forward?
Yeah, I think the big focus that we see in the industry right now, and what the studies are showing, our target market, which is kind of SMB or mid-market companies with workstations from 25 state up to 500. What we focus on is IT and communication solutions, and more specifically hosted unified communications, and our banner kind of has some of the elements of that. It's the unified inbox with your email, voicemail, fax, and auto attendant for phone calls coming into the system, the unified collaboration, all of the meetings and the contacts and all of that thing, and then the actual unified communications, instant messaging, shared desktop, video conferencing, and then voice call or conferencing, voice over IP. And what we're finding is that there's a big market for this service. The companies of our target are actually acquiring these services now, and there's sort of a paradigm shift coming from away from on-premise PBX and on-premise services onto hosted services. And specifically, if you can wrap all these services together and integrate them, it's all about the user experience. It's a really great user experience when I can. And we've had demos in the conference that we've done showing doing an instant message conversation with a colleague and then promoting that up to a voice conversation on Office Communication Server, and then promoting that up to a live meeting conference where you can actually collaborate, show a document. And the thing that we think is interesting is it's a simplified user experience that is actually far more productive than the typical experience today, where you have a telephone or you have a conference call alone, or even meeting, traveling long distances to meet. And with the economy and the expense of traveling getting cut back, we think that really collaborating through these simple tools is going to be super effective. And the user experience is what's going to drive it, we think. It's not necessarily coming from the IT department in these companies. It's really the users driving this and wanting to have the ease of collaboration that these products provide.
So you're targeting mainly the small to medium business market?
Yeah, small to medium-sized businesses.
And what kind of feedback have you gotten from them? Do they find it kind of a more simplified system for them?
Yeah, it's interesting. When we get in front of a customer and actually go through the demo and the value prop and explain the service, they all want it. And it's not really a question of if, it's when, and how do I migrate onto the platform. And the biggest roadblock we find right now is just awareness. So many folks out there in the SMB world aren't even aware that you can do these things.
Sure.
And you can do them really easily. There's not a big learning curve for the user, and it's a lot of it's focused on Outlook, a client they're probably already using.
Yeah, of course.
And they're probably already doing instant messaging using sort of the cloud-based services for that, like MSN or Yahoo. And so this just kind of puts it in a business tone, business setting, and makes it private, makes it secure and encrypted, and just provides the conferencing capabilities that really allow you to collaborate. And so once they are aware of all these services, then it's really, as I said, not if, but when. And the problem we see is just awareness out there in the industry that this is something that is available today.
Right.
And not something in the future. You can do it today.
Well, you've made the first step by being on WHIR TV.
That's right, yeah.
We have
Appreciate
millions of viewers now. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. We really appreciate it. Best of luck with everything. It looks like you guys have a great idea. I mean, do you see a lot of other companies coming up with the same similar kind of concept?
You know, we see a lot of people, a lot of companies wanting to and talking about it, and it is a complex sort of deployment or technical thing that you have to integrate and get working. Once you're there, it's great, but there is a bit of a learning curve. So what we're seeing is companies starting to look at evaluate what kind of project is it, how can I move forward, what are the different business models to bring it to market.
Right.
And that's where we're at right now, is really building the awareness of all that.
How long did it take you to get to this point?
You know, we started working on this, I want to say about 2 years ago, and sort of worked in obscurity, and then we actually launched this service last July. And it was one of the first services of its kind, and kind of surprised some of the partners like Microsoft that we were working with, that you could actually do this, you could take it to production, and make it a commercial service. So we've been working on it quite a while, and I think it's still new enough that many companies are still kind of kicking the tires and evaluating it, but the opportunity's here now.
Good, well, good for you guys. I think it's all about being ahead of the curve,
Ahead of
right?
the curve, that's right.
It seems like you've done it. Well, congratulations.
Well, thanks very much.
Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thanks
really
for your time.
Appreciate it.